evening, everyone, and welcome to CBS 6 Sports' special presentation of this year's Dudley and Lanier Awards. I'm Blaine Casadante, sports director here at CBS 6 in Richmond, and we welcome you wherever you may be tuning in tonight across the Commonwealth to this first-of-its-kind presentation. For those of you not quite familiar with these honors, these are Virginia's versions of the Heisman Trophy, celebrating the best performances in college football over this abbreviated and bisected season. The Dudley Award has been given out since 1990, and this year will again be presented to the best player in Division I, either FBS or FCS, and is named for the man that many believe to be Virginia's first football superstar. Bullet Bill Dudley was born in Bluefield, Virginia, back in 1921. At just 16 years of age, he was awarded a scholarship to play football at the University of Virginia, where he excelled in all three phases of the game and became UVA's first ever All-American. He was the first overall pick in the 1942 NFL Draft, taken by the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was an All-Pro in his very first season, and his 12-year NFL career was interrupted only by his military service during World War II. The NFL MVP in 1946 and has been enshrined into both the college and pro football halls of fame. Dudley handed out this award personally until just before his death in 2010. But his name and reputation live on through one of the most prestigious honors any Virginia player can earn. For many years, the honor of receiving the award from the man for whom it was named was a huge honor for the recipients. And as Bill's son Jim told us earlier this week, it was just as big of an honor for his father, even though he wasn't into personal honors for himself.
And Daddy wanted to, to the extent his award remembers and brings to mind for people those sacrifices, the good that college sports in general and football in particular, in his case, bring and pass on, he would be more thrilled every year that it goes on. He said, you get to go play a game for a few years, but when you're through, you're going to have to go to work for a living. So you take all you can get from the game and be grateful for it, and then do all the best you can to give it back to folks. That's the only way, that your memory is going to be good, going to be long-lasting, going to be wholesome. And, I think Daddy did that. Daddy lived by what he learned in life and learned a lot of it on the football field and the locker rooms. And being able to, again, to be remembered, to pass on that reward, he was proud of that.
The Richmond Times-Dispatch has been the main sponsor of the Dudley Award since its inception over 30 years ago and has traditionally been the honor of the paper's sports editor to announce the winner each year. We are joined tonight by the current sports editor at the RTD, Michael Phillips. Michael, there's been nothing like this that you or I have ever seen, and we are now at the finish line of a football season nobody's ever going to forget.
A fall season, a spring season. We had crazy winners. We had expected winners. Got JMU winning today. Randolph-Macon down the road winning a title. I don't know that we've ever seen one quite like this before, Lane.
Can you really, every time we talk to a player or a coach, the gratitude that they were able to, get the opportunity to do it, because it was almost taken away. And for some programs, it was taken away. They did not play, or they didn't play a whole season. But every time you talk to any of these players or coaches, they really understand This is a gift to be able to do this.
And I think you understand that in the way that so many of these young men rose to the occasion in following the rules they needed to follow, the protocols they needed to follow. This wasn't always easy, Lane. This wasn't always something where you just show up and play football. They had to isolate from people. They had to not see family members for a long time. But this was their desire, was to play the game, to see this thing through to the finish line. And for a lot of teams, they were able to accomplish that goal.
And some of the programs had to go on pause. Some of the programs missed games. I imagine a lot of anxiety for a lot of those programs because, it was your last game, really your last game.
We saw it at the high school level. You got a team that has to leave the playoffs, and that's it. Just like that, all of a sudden, and Highland Springs moves on. So many unknowns, so many variables this season, but we saw so many great performances, too. And that's why I'm so happy to be here tonight to celebrate you, even amid all these trials and whatnot. So many great plays, so many great upset victories. I know we've got a Liberty and a Virginia Tech finalist tonight. What a game that was, going down to the wire in Blacksburg, back and forth. That's why we did this, for the fun of playing games like that.
Real quickly, any of the finalists surprise you?
Well, Reese Udinsky at VMI, so great to see a VMI name in there for sure. Only played 4 games, but that was the gutsiest performance of the year. Tore his ACL, came back in, threw the game-winning pass in overtime, scored the winning score. An incredible gutsy performance. The other two, Khalil Herbert and Malik Willis, both just all-star, top-notch performers. We're going to give it to somebody worthy tonight.
And here are a look at this year's Dudley finalists and what they did this year, presented in alphabetical order. Our first Dudley Award finalist led the nation with nearly 1,800 all-purpose yards this year, including a school record 357 against Duke alone. He had 6 100-yard rushing games and was the first back to have a 1,000-yard season in Blacksburg since 2015, finishing with just over 1,200 rushing yards. He was third in the ACC, averaging over 7.5 yards per carry, and was named All-ACC third team at running back. He was also honored by wearing former coach Frank Beamer's number 25 jersey against North Carolina. From Virginia Tech, running back Khalil Herbert. Our second Dudley finalist played a major role in his program, making some major school history this year. He led the Keydets to a 4-0 record, their first since 1981, before suffering a season-ending injury. That injury did not stop him from leading his team to an overtime win against Samford. He finishes his career in Lexington setting school marks for passing yards, completions, attempts, and touchdown passes. He's also 6th all-time in Southern Conference history in passing yards. From the Virginia Military Institute, quarterback Reese Udinsky. Our final Dudley finalist also helped his program set a new standard for success. He accounted for 30 touchdowns this year, 20 through the air and 10 over the ground. He threw for at least 3 touchdowns in a game 4 times, with a season high of 6 in an October win over Southern Miss. He also rushed for 3 scores in the Flames Bowl game against Coastal Carolina. He finished with a passer rating north of 156, completed over 64% of his throws for over 2,200 yards. His 33 total touchdowns set a school record this year. He led his team to a 10-1 record, including upset road wins at Virginia Tech and Syracuse, and helped the Flames finish 17th in the country in the final Associated Press poll. From Liberty University, quarterback Malik Willis. Up until 2004, the Dudley Award covered all levels of college football in Virginia, but the smaller college programs weren't always equally represented. So the Touchdown Club of Richmond and the Richmond Times-Dispatch came up with a separate award just for players at the Division II and III level. The obvious choice for a namesake was another Virginia native, as accomplished and respected as Mr. Dudley was, and we are very fortunate to have him with us tonight. Mr. Willie Lanier is also a member of both the College and Pro Football Halls of Fame, as well as an 8-time All-Pro, Super Bowl champion, and honored on the NFL's 75th and 100th anniversary teams. Willie, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. When you left Maggie Walker to go to Morgan State, you have any idea what you were in for as a career when you left Richmond the first time?
It was not possible to conceive of where you grow up in Richmond. As I was speaking to you about this television station, and I was here when I was 6 or 7 years of age, and to think about a sports career that then could go to where the NFL is now, and the last two things you mentioned, a 75th and 100th anniversary all-time team, and you came from the same place down the street, around the corner, and that's where you started this journey. I mean, it's just fascinating.
But talent always rises, and there's a saying that the NFL will find you if you can play. You could play. Some of these kids at the smaller schools can play, and it really shows itself on the field, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, but the thing that's really interesting about it, what you said is true, but when I was a 10th grader, I only weighed 152 pounds. I didn't make the varsity as a 10th grader. I only had 2 years of high school football. I mean, so it's really interesting in the arc of time and God's gift of size that then subsequently certain things occur, and you have the ability to get there and understand it clear enough, college and pro, to craft a way from a distance to something that you could mention here this evening.
When you meet kids this generation, players that learn your background and learn that you went to a small school like they did and you're one of the most accomplished to ever play the game, what's the number one thing they ask you?
Well, it's sort of interesting. I don't think it's hard for them to grasp that you could come from a program that wasn't really a program. All you were was a kid, 15, 16, 17 years of age. You wanted to go to college. I was a walk-on at Morgan State. I was not recruited by Morgan State. Virginia State was the one that had attempted to recruit. So it's hard for people to put those two pieces together. How do you go from there, walk on at Morgan State, historically black college, go to a team that had gone to the Super Bowl the year before, become a star the fourth game of your rookie year, and then craft the rest of the story? I mean, it's pretty hard to imagine except for God's grace and acknowledgement and thank you.
We will hear a little bit more from Willie later on, but up next, the Touchdown Club of Richmond presents their yearly honors and awards for the season. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. For well over a half century, the Touchdown Club of Richmond has supported all sports at the local level throughout Central Virginia and beyond, particularly high school and college football. And they also take pride in recognizing effort and achievement from players across the Commonwealth.
Its mission is simple. It's to promote sports in general and the sportsmanship of sports, in particular football. But we support any of them. A lot of the members are former coaches. A lot of their membership, a large number of our membership is officials and former officials, and they know what goes in to make it work.
The club's biggest event is the Big River Rivalry All-Star Game, normally held in December. To date, the club and that game have raised over $65,000 for the Children's Hospital at VCU. Each year, in conjunction with the Dudley and Lanier Awards, the Touchdown Club hands out their own statewide honors for both coaches and players at all levels of the game. The Bobby Ross Award goes to the state's Coach of the Year at the Division I level and is named for the Richmond native who went to Benedictine and VMI, won a national title at Georgia Tech, and took the San Diego Chargers to the Super Bowl. Coach Ross has been an influence to coaches and players for the better part of the last 4 decades, and this year's winner has more than a small connection to him. This year's Bobby Ross Coach of the Year for Division I is VMI's Scott Wachenheim. In his 6th year in charge of the Keydets, Wachenheim guided VMI to their first winning season in 40 years and their first playoff appearance in school history. The Keydets clinched the Southern Conference title with a win over the Citadel last Saturday for their first conference title since 1977. Their 6 wins in this abbreviated season was the most they've seen since 2003, and the program is just 4 seasons removed from going winless back in 2017. For the 2nd straight year, Wachenheim is a finalist for the Eddie Robinson Award, handed out to the National Coach of the Year, which will be awarded on May 4th.
It's a tremendous honor to receive the Richmond Touchdown Club Virginia State Coach of the Year Award. especially realizing that it's named after Bobby Ross. Bobby Ross, a famous VMI quarterback who's been a true mentor to me in my career and a true encourager to me as I've been head coach at VMI. I'm very appreciative of my staff and players who helped me win this award, and a big thank you to the Richmond Touchdown Club for honoring me, my staff, and the football team.
The Coach of the Year award for programs in Division II and III is named for one of the most successful coaches at that level that Virginia has ever seen. Willard Bailey led 4 different programs, most notably Virginia Union and Norfolk State, amassing 238 career victories and 7 CIAA championships. Bailey made the Division II playoffs with his teams 6 straight years, from 1979 to 1984. Each year, the winner of this honor has followed in Bailey's footsteps in some way, usually with their success. This year is no different. After guiding Randolph-Macon to their first undefeated season in over 50 years, head coach Pedro Russo has been named this year's Willard Bailey Coach of the Year. The Jackets won their 12th ODAC title with their win over Emory and Henry, capping a 5-0 spring season. The 12 titles are the most of any ODAC program, and this was their 4th title under Russo. He earned his 4th ODAC Coach of the Year honor as well, which puts him at the top of the Randolph-Macon coaching list in that category. This is his first time being honored with the Willard Bailey Award.
Hi, I'm Pedro Russo. I'm the head football coach at Randolph-Macon. I'm honored to be recognized by the Touchdown Club. Touchdown Club is a tremendous organization. I appreciate everything that they do for high school football in the Richmond area and in the state of Virginia, and all that they do for the colleges as well. I'm really proud of our team, really proud of our assistant coaches. This started back in March, and we didn't know if we were going to have a fall season, and our guys had to deal with the ups and downs of not knowing when we were going to play or if we were going to play, not knowing when we were going to practice or whether we could practice or who was going to be out of practice. So I'm extremely proud as I've ever been to be the head football coach here and to lead and coach our guys. They did an awesome job this year, and all the credit for the type of season that we had and what we were able to accomplish goes to the players. They just did an unbelievable job, and super proud of them. So thank you for this honor.
The Touchdown Club also honors Players of the Year all across the state in individual positions at both the Division I levels and the smaller school levels. Here is a list of this year's honorees as voted upon by the TD Club membership. One of our other special honors tonight comes to us courtesy of the folks at Wells Fargo Advisors. The Wells Fargo Humanitarian Award was created to honor players who excel both on and off the field, not just in the classroom, but in the community as well. This year's winner took last year's social climate and turned it into an effort to educate and assimilate those in his school's community. This year's Wells Fargo Humanitarian Award goes to UVA receiver Terrell Janna. A senior from Vancouver, British Columbia, Janna caught 36 passes for 423 yards and a touchdown, but made just as much of an impression off the field. He carries a 3.3 GPA, majoring in public policy, and left his name off the back of his jersey this year as a tribute to those on the memorial to enslaved laborers that were also now recognized by their name. Janna was one of 12 UVA players this year that formed the UVA Groundskeepers, a community outreach group honored with the school's Marcus Martin Endorsed Award given to those facilitating institutional change, diversity, equity, and access. Janna also participated in a program called Thursday's Heroes that supported local families going through challenging circumstances.
I want to thank the Touchdown Club of Richmond for granting me this award. I'm accepting it on behalf of not only myself, but all my teammates and members of the Groundskeepers, as well as all my teammates and friends over at BOSS, the Black Student Athlete Group, for all the hard work they've done this past year. It's a testament not only to the work that I've done, but all the work they've done, both in the community and on grounds. Thank you very much for this award. It means a great deal to us, and I can't wait to see what we do moving forward.
Up next, the last two awards of the night and the biggest. We will hand out the Dudley and Lanier Awards right after this. Welcome back, everyone. It is time to hand out our hardware to this year's winners. We will start with the Lanier Award, again, handed out to the best player in Division 2, 3, or the NAIA level. This year's Willie Lanier Award goes to Randolph-Macon quarterback Presley Eggbers. The sophomore led the ODAC in passing efficiency, yards per attempt, and passing touchdowns with 10. He completed 62% of his passes and was also third in the ODAC in rushing at nearly 68 yards per game. The Yellow Jackets scored 21 touchdowns over their abbreviated season, and Eggbers accounted for 17 of them, including all 4 in a 28-0 win over Hampden-Sydney, and the game-winning score in overtime against Emory and Henry to clinch the ODAC championship. Eggbers was also named the Offensive Player of the Year in the ODAC this spring. The native of Clifton, Virginia, is the second Yellow Jacket to win this award.
First off, thank Coach Russo for nominating me for this award. He's been a great mentor to me, and we've come a long way ever since I got here. I also want to thank our coaching staff. They put a lot of hard work and a lot of effort, a lot of late nights, early mornings, and without them, I don't know where our program would be. Lastly, I want to thank my teammates. A motto that our program follows is the team, the team, the team, and I feel like that's why we were so successful this spring, is because we came together as a team and we all looked at each other and we said, look, we're not worried about how many yards we throw for in a game, how many catches we have, how many tackles we have on defense. We're worried about the team and we're worried about winning. I'm so thankful that the ODAC and Randolph-Macon was able to let us play this season, and I know it means a lot to our football program. I know it means a lot to our players, and I know it means a lot to our staff and all of our families for all the hard work that we put in and year out to be able to come out and play together and play as a team and get the job done.
And once again, congratulations to Presley Eggbers, winner of this year's Willie Lanier Award. His name adorns the trophy, and it will be on there with some very good names for the remainder of that trophy's presence. And since Presley is only a sophomore, he has 2 more chances to become the first player to win the Lanier Award twice in his collegiate career. Now for the final award of the night. To announce this year's Dudley Award winner, we welcome back the sports editor from the Richmond Times-Dispatch, Michael Phillips.
Thank you, Lane, and thank you for this production tonight. The Times-Dispatch prides itself on its community involvement programs like tonight's, so we'd like to take a moment to thank our readers, our subscribers, and our advertisers who make events like this possible. And it is my pleasure to announce that the Dudley Award for the 2020 college football season goes to Malik Willis, Liberty.
Malik Willis. Liberty's Malik Willis is the first player from Liberty to win this honor. Congratulations to Malik. Here are some thoughts that he had on the award.
Wow, I'm thankful and very humbled to win the Dudley Award. I really appreciate it. It's an honor. I just appreciate you guys considering me to be in this award ceremony, and I know it's just such a prestigious thing that so many before me have won and received, and those guys are great players and great athletes, and I'm just so thankful to my family, my friends, my coaches, my teammates, and God most of all, and I just really appreciate this honor, and I'm glad to join the ranks of great athletes that come before me, and through this crazy 2020 season where COVID and all type of things struck and we just had to battle through and all stick together, we just look forward to a great 2021 season. Thank you.
Mike, real quick, we look forward to more from him next year.
He could be the first player to win this twice in a calendar year.
Yeah,
if he wins,
right.
It's your 7th school to win the Dudley Award. Congrats to Liberty and Malik.
And good luck to him. We'd like to congratulate all of tonight's winners one more time and thank the schools for their help with the presentations. We also need to thank General Manager Stephen Hayes here at CBS 6 for his support, as well as David Stotts and Shannon Hopkins in our promotions department. A big thank you to Mike O'Toole, as well as our friends at Wells Fargo's advisors and the Richmond Times-Dispatch. For the Hall of Famer Willie Lanier, for Michael Phillips and everyone here at CBS 6, I'm Lane Casadante. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. So long.